Hello everyone, and this is Crota giving you Game 5 in what was an amazing series so far between TLO and Socke. Game 5 taking place on Terminus Ray. So this is going to be a Socke or Socke here on Terminus Ray, spawning at the 6 o'clock position. Liquid TLO spawning as the red Terran player here at the 3 o'clock position. Terran versus Protoss, an amazing series so far. Very, very fun to just watch and see what's happening between all of these players. As we now get into the deciding game of this series, Socke pretty much building close to home, as we've seen them do time and time again. TLO building also close to home, and we'll see if TLO has any interesting builds in store. TLO, I think, really capitalizing on Socke's mistake in Game 2 or Game 4 in the Xel'Naga Caverns, those force fields, to try to prevent those Hellions from running in instead of preventing the Marauders and the Marines. And by splitting up his army, TLO was able to draw a lot of the energy away from those sentries, and then the Marauders and the Marines were able to freely engage. On top of that, those force fields really hurt those Zealots, as the Zealots were unable to get within range of those Hellions, and the Hellions essentially had 20 free seconds to just deal damage to those Zealots until the Zealots were essentially useless, and only 1 or 2 more shots from those Marines were able to finish them off. We are going to have a probe coming in from Socke. Socke gonna scout out his opponent first, come up the ramp, and see everything he needs to see. The refinery now being completed, the barracks also in play as well. The SCV gonna come around, see that there is not a nexus here, and then perhaps try to scout out this location here. Socke does have his gateway already up and running. Cybernetics Core will be coming into play, as I mentioned, as the probe still wandering around trying to get as much information as possible. And it looks like that one particular probe will be forced to back off now, as a Marine is ready to pop out and deal damage and at least deny some scouting. SCV now about to come up the ramp here. We do have a lot of energy on the Nexus. We'll see if that's all saved for the Cybernetics Core, or if he's also going to chrono boost out an early Stalker, as we have an early Zealot being trained up as well. So perhaps early Zealot Stalker pressure, a very common tactic, as there's the Cybernetics Core, where there's the chrono boost on both, and now also getting up that one Stalker as well. The Zealot getting one round of attack onto the SCV, but the SCV able to sneak away now, as Socke setting up a proxy pylon here. And that may be a bit of an issue. Marines now making their way out, making sure that there are no proxy pylons anywhere within the vicinity of his base. But this is rather close, and reinforcements will be coming in very easily. You can see that there is a probe down over here, just outside of the sight range of this one Xel'Naga tower. And now 2 Marines up on the high ground, 2 more Marines on the low ground, regrouping together, as we should be getting a Stalker perhaps getting in together as well. There is an SCV activating this Xel'Naga watchtower here, does spot the Stalker. The Stalker gonna be able to finish it off very easily. Down it goes. We are now going into a command center once more. TLO deciding to only use Hellions and Marines, and now doing a very early scout here on Terminus. He's going to move out with this one Hellion, and now going to get shot down by the Stalker just a little bit. Also taking some damage from a Zealot, but that one Hellion, he really just wants to scout out and figure out what his opponent is doing, and his opponent is going for a 4-gate. So 4-gate is underway. 24 probe 4-gate, chrono boosting on that last Cybernetics Core for the last bit of seconds there. It will get finished. The Hellion spots one gateway. He needs to scout out the other 3, and there they go. Socke knows that he is in trouble, needs to get bunkers, and lots of them. Otherwise, he's going to be in a world of hurt. And even if these bunkers are now coming in, I believe the reinforcements are already underway. 4 Stalkers now coming in. And we are going to have one Stalker now pushing in as well. There are some SCVs already on the ramp ready, and we are going to get a proxy pylon over here. Is it going to be spotted? No, it is not going to be spotted by any of the SCVs, as the Hellions and all the units are trying to get in position there. SCVs backing off, trying to play a very dangerous game, as the SCVs getting picked apart little by little. Marines now jumping inside the bunker and able to fend off the attack here. Marines jumping in over here as well. The pylon was spotted, so TLO knows that there is a pylon over here, and that's going to be a very dangerous situation, as the Marines need to perhaps finish off and continue to, or SCVs need to repair this bunker over here. Not quite sure why these SCVs are not on auto repair. They really need to be on auto repair, otherwise a lot more damage will be had. More and more Stalkers are still getting added to this group. Marines now jumping into that forward position as well. Hellion's going to be able to finish off this one pylon, but it looks like TLO will be able to fend off this attack with just Marines and Hellions with a lot of bunkers in a very forward position. Marines going to finish off this pylon here, and now Socke going to take this time and expand himself, knowing that he is not going to be able to really break down this front door. TLO is very, very smart in scouting out these 3 gateways and knowing that he definitely needed to leave all of these SCVs on the front door to at least absorb some damage and then fight back. Hellion's now down on the low ground. We'll see what will come of them in just a moment, as we are now going into that double tech lab build, also going into a starport. A reactor is being added, more SCVs still being trained. Bunkers need to be built on the low ground in order to fend off what may be a subsequent attack. Socke does have a slightly stronger economy, and he also has a slightly stronger tech advantage, I would say, as he does have a robotics facility. We are just getting our starport now, and it has not trained up any units as of yet. Orbital Command now will be landing off over here. It will be able to spot off that one pylon in just a moment. That pylon will quickly fall, but it's not going to really hurt Socke, as I believe additional pylons should be warping in, or he may end up becoming supply blocked. We'll see what happens as the Marines are now jumping inside. What happened? The Marauder should be able to spot that there. TLO does spot this additional pylon, knows that it needs to do something about it. Not quite sure why that Marauder doesn't do something about it, as Stalkers are patrolling, making sure that there are currently no drops. Observer now positioning itself off here and here. We'll know if a drop is coming underway as the Hellions and the Marauders finally finish off this pylon here. 71 over 76, 75 over 76. He will be supply blocked for a little bit of time, but he will get 2 additional pylons rather quickly, and Socke pretty much not losing a moment as we now see a robotics bay being added. Bunkers have been salvaged. Marines, Hellions, and Marauders once again on the move. This observer gonna perhaps pretty much catch that army as it moves out and engages. Stalkers now getting torched, and it looks like the Hellions are trying to get in front of it. The Stalkers simply outnumber that. Hellions simply outnumber that Stalker right now, getting a lot of damage, down to 28 damage, and now finally being forced to back off. The Marines do not have stim, as the Hellions able to torch down and get even more damage. Once again, Marines and Marauders still being added, and without pushing right now, there's no real way to deal damage to all of these Marines and the Marauders. No splash damage, no Psystorm. So I think TLO not attacking at this stage may hurt him just a little bit. Looks like the Stalkers are going to be able to respond to this Hellion drop very, very easily, trying to get in position. Where are these Hellions going to go? The Hellions are now being dropped down. Hellions now trying to escape. It looks like the Stalker, the medevac, down to 7 hit points, and oh, gets destroyed. And that is heavy, heavy losses there. Army combinations, Terran very far behind, 1550 versus 2300. Colossus now being added, and TLO, if he tries to press now, will simply just get torn apart. Another scanner sweep in order to figure out what his opponent is doing. Another command center being placed down, so TLO is getting a little bit ahead in terms of the economic advantage. He just needs to defend whatever his opponent is going to be able to throw at him, as we are now sitting at 2600 versus 1850. 3 more gateways coming in. Medevacs, level 1 weapons upgrade, 2 additional barracks, a lot of zealots. Army combinations is still about a 1200 difference at this point, as we do have double bunkers now over here, but will it be enough to really fend off anything, as double medevacs are still being added, and then now trying to do another drop. TLO not being successful at all with these drops, and he doesn't have any real way to equalize the playing field. A 10 food difference, 47 harvesters versus 47 probes. Production still shows more medevacs, marauders, and SCVs still being added. A missile turret finally being added over here. But I think TLO in this very forward position, it is not going to go well for him at all. As soon as those Colossi move out, these 2 Colossi, Zealots, and Stalkers move out, yeah, all of these units do definitely need to retreat. Do we see any Vikings being added? Yeah, 1 Viking now being trained. A 2nd Viking needs to be added as quickly as possible. But the numbers may simply be too much in too much in a disadvantage right now. Marauders are now trying to push in. You can see the Marauders and Hellions are trying to split across the army. Colossi being forced to pull back. Marauders now pulling back as well. And we'll see what will be happening here. The extended thermal lance range now completed. The Marauders and the Marines trying to finish off the rest of those Zealots, as the Marauders going to be jumping into here as well. We have, a range of 7. So those Marauders able to deal a lot of damage, and now TLO with a very small army still caught in midfield as the Colossi trying to focus down those Stalkers. All of this army will get destroyed, but it is buying precious time for Vikings. 3875 versus 2100 right now. One Marauder now trying to retreat. There are only 2 Vikings in the air. There is also 1 missile turret, but those 2 Vikings may not be enough, as we are now going to be having almost a double in size mineral army. SCVs need to desperately repair. Is it going to be enough? Vikings going after those units now. Vikings getting destroyed by those Stalkers, and I believe TLO just doesn't have enough of an army to fend off these Colossi and all of these Stalkers. The Stalkers simply could just attack, move, and there is the GG by TLO. Socke taking this 5-game series in Game 5. A very close match. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this best of 5 series.